Hey, welcome back to the channel. Back in the shop today. I'm working on mountain beadlocks. Went with the Pro Comp MT2s, 40, 13, 50, 17s. I've never done beadlocks before. Did some research, saw some beadlocks at SEMA. I like the way the Dirty Life wheels look, so I went with the Dirty Life wheels. So here we go. We're gonna do some of the mounting today of the beadlocks, get those done, and we're gonna work on maybe putting a couple of wheels on, seeing how it looks on the truck. Finishing up some axle brackets for my 4-link system on the rear while we're waiting on stuff for the front. So here we go. Hey, welcome to the channel. I'm Caleb Morrison. This is Caleb's Diesel and Fabrication. If you like fabricating stuff, if you like working on diesel vehicles, this is a great place to be because we're gonna do it all. All right, you can kind of see I went with these valve stems are steel. They seal up pretty good. Here's the wheels I ended up going with. They're 17s, and they're the Roadkill 9302s. They've got a 4.45 back spacing. They're matte black, and I think they look pretty good. So here's some of them already mounted up with the Pro Comp wheels. Thought they look pretty good. They got the real beadlock, got the Dirty Life on them. They look like they're ready to go. They're a little dusty from me mounting them, but I've got 4 of the 5, so it's coming along pretty good. So I'll set this up and get you guys started on watching me do this. Kind of a process. I've never done it. Not that I know the right way, but I watch plenty of videos of people doing it, so here we go. This is what the beadlock looks like without the ring. You see how the actual bead sits alongside the outside, and then when you push down on it, it goes up against there. And then it's got all these bolt holes so you can push the bead onto it. Alright, almost messed up there. You got to put the valve stems in first. I got a little ahead of myself. Anyways, so these are steel valve stems. They're kind of nice because they got a nut on them. They're not like your regular style where you just pull them through and it's rubber only. This is actually steel with a rubber seal. So it works pretty good. You just tighten it up. Yeah, I like the way they're set up, and they're pretty heavy duty, so they're not going to break off or dry rot. So steel's a little better. Almost locked it, but not so fast. actually clamps the tire and bead in between and holds it on there. That way whenever you're going on terrain and you need to air down so the tire conforms to the rock, you can air it down to 1 or 2 psi and the bead won't come off, and you'll be good. And then you can air it back up and it doesn't come off. These are a 1-piece beadlock. Some of the military ones are a 2-piece beadlock, but these are a little different setup. It's still aluminum. It works pretty good, but this is definitely a lot better for what I'm doing with the rock crawler here. So pretty easy to do, just a little bit time consuming. Hey guys, back in the shop. I'm still pushing ahead here. I ended up switching out. I had the offset 7/8 times that I got from Rough Stuff Specialties, and what ended up happening is through just trying it out, trial and error here, I noticed that when I bent my tie rod end that it was going to be too far out. Well, then I remembered that I had regular offset heims, so I went ahead and put them on. They're just straight offset, or straight heims, not offset, and it turned out they look pretty good. This is what it has, a little bend in it, as you can see. I got my double shear put together, the spacers. So what I did on this other side is I took this piece to Austin and had him drill this out to 3/4, where I could put a 3/4 bolt in there and be able to mount my double shear for my steering in there. Well, the problem is at the angle across here, this is above the track bar, or above, not the track bar, it's above the panhard bar, and so it was gonna basically have to sit up here and go through the frame, which I don't want to pierce the frame and do any of that. So this, right now the suspension is at full bump, and I kind of want to make sure everything's not going to hit at full bump, either way. So made the decision. I had enough set up here to make the double shear work on the outside bolt. So what I'm going to try to do here, which I'm definitely not the bender pro. I've got the old cheap Harbor Freight bender over there that I borrowed from my brother-in-law. I ended up bending this piece, which is the first piece I ever bent, the tie rod ends bar. I ended up bending that. It turned out pretty decent, I'd say, for my first bending operation. I've helped a little bit whenever we were building my shop. Helped the electrician, an older guy, do some bending on some just conduit for the electric, but that's as far as I've ever been. So anyways, this is kind of where I'm at. So what I'm going to attempt to do here is, I'll set it up where I can show you, but I'm going to attempt to make this same bend and see if it's going to work for my drag link. Now I think that if I make this same bend, if I follow this same bend, it's going to go around the panhard bar and hook into the double shear here. So I don't know exactly what length yet, but I'm going to get my bend done first, and that way I'm not cutting off my bend. I'm just going to cut off the long part. I got 54 inches, the kit that came from Rough Stuff. I think it'll be plenty, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of tweaking on it, but I'll set you guys up and show you. I'm going to bend it and try to make the same profile. I got a couple of marks on my bender. I used a piece of plate, and I got some marks here where I ended up bending it and how far I bent it. So I'm going to continue to try to make that and then slide it in over here, and hopefully it'll match this same profile and it'll look all uniform. My goal is if I match the same profile and the same height and plane of my panhard bar, from all the research that I've done, I'm not going to have any bump steer. Bump steer is where your suspension is going up and down, and then as you come up and down, your track bar and your tie rod, or your steering linkage is going back and forth, and it's fighting each other because they're not on the same plane and they're not in the same range of motion. So I'm gonna try to not do that. You hear a lot of Jeeps have that problem, and I've been doing a little research. I'm trying to get this right the first time. I'm kind of slowly figuring it out. You guys are coming with me on this journey, so I'm looking forward to it. Once I get the steering done, I can mount these shocks, because for all intents and purposes, the cage is done, and I can set the truck under its own weight. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm looking forward to it. Hope you guys are enjoying what's going on, but I'll show you how I'm going to bend this. I'm not a pro, but I'm learning. So my steering box, it doesn't push the frame back around. Like the frame horn and the back of this, we've almost got it fully boxed in. We added these little brackets over here. We did that on the same thing on this side. Cut this piece out, put both pieces in. We about got this brace completely welded up. So we're about ready to set it under its own weight. We've got a little bit more to do. Getting close. Alright. Looking pretty good. Coming again. Gonna be good for the welding on this. So you can see today, one thing we went through is a lot of cardboard, getting everything cut out, brackets made. Pretty much got all the welding done, got a little bit of small stuff left, but for all intents and purposes, the shocks can be put on and the truck can be put under its own weight. Got the track bar and also the tie rod ends. Got those finished up. I got this bar ready. I got it bent. This is only my third time bending tube, and it turned out pretty good for a Harbor Freight setup. Thanks, Ryan. Got it on there, so I can go ahead and put this on there right now. Mount up my steering gearbox, will be good to go. Let that cool off. Last time I did let it cool off, and things were a little tight. But we got all this welded in. It looks pretty good. Like I was saying before, we ended up, I wasn't planning on doing this, but I ended up putting this brace in there, which is just 3/8 diamond plate, and this brace right here. And if you get in here and see what we got going on, since I moved the steering box forwards 2 1/4, 2 3/8 inches forwards, I had to make some extra bracing out here, especially going from this cross member to the frame horn, because there's going to be so much more pressure on the outside of the frame, because normally this steering box would be right here going up to here, but since we did that, we moved back our panhard bar bracket, we moved back all of the bolt holes and moved this forward. So it's been a little bit of a process to get that moved forwards. Wasn't planning on putting the braces in there, but I think we might as well do it now and get it over with, and I don't think it'll break. Everything's pretty hot. I feel like I went through about 10 pounds of welding rod, and we went through at least 133 pound of MIG wire. So got this brace done. We made a brace that goes underneath the panhard bar to hold it in. I did some custom machining work. My buddy Austin, he got this all cleaned up right here, trimmed this so our pitman arm would pass back and forth through here. So we got that all mounted up. We used our custom angle iron brackets that me and Craig made for the wheels to get everything completely centered up and get it where it's where it's supposed to be. So now we can go ahead and set it down on the wheels, put the shocks on there, and that's pretty much done, really. It'll be under its own weight, and then we can mount everything up like the steering box after the fact. But pretty excited because it's going to be sitting under its own weight here in just a little bit. All right, we got to sit it on the ground for the first time under its own weight in the front, where it actually is how it's going to look like. I might get this GoPro off the stand. I'm gonna bring you in here and show you guys what I got going on. All right, so you can see I got this plate welded in here. And what's nice is I cut this plate out. I'm gonna turn this welder off real quick because it's loud. So I cut this plate right here out of the original frame, which actually was up here. You can see where I put the plate in, but this is the original frame piece. And then I fastened it to the outside, moved it forwards 2 1/4 inches. And you can see whenever we put this piece on there, obviously we had to yank it mesh with the frame. So underneath you can see it's a little different looking. We got it welded in. I just got done grinding and cleaning that up with a tiger paw. On this side, we ended up putting those braces in. And the reason I did... All right, so this is what I got going on here. I welded these brackets onto my frame. You can see that kind of match the profile. And what I'm gonna do is take the 4-link brackets. I'm gonna put these up in here like this, bolt them through the frame, and then I'm gonna actually make a piece that goes right up in here, and it's going to tie that together all the way up to the top. So it's gonna work pretty good. I think it's gonna be nice and strong. I'll show you guys that. There's one. This one's gonna kind of be more of the same. You see, when I get the bracket up here like this, it's nice and level, and I can make the bracket tie into the frame right there. Okay. Got some cardboard. Yeah, I should have. Well, there's a box right there. I don't know how much you need.
It went inside that windshield when I'm waiting. You know what I mean?
Man, Joe, I got a, there's a welding blanket right here.
Well, I got to cover the inside of the glass.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? I can have something that's kind of rigid.
There should be some cardboard right over there. Right there, Joe, will work.
That'll work. That'll work very good.
good. All right, so you see that's going to sit up in there like that, and then my 4-link bars go to the heim joint right there, and then I'm going to build a piece that goes from right here that goes straight up to the top, and then back here I want to make a brace that goes up to the top of the frame right here, and that way this piece is completely braced in. Behind here there'll be a piece going from here to here, going to the frame, just sandwiching this all together. The more bracing you have, because this is going to be 4-link bar is going to be going to the axle right in there. The more bracing you can have, the better it's going to be. And you could see I used some 3/8 on this, and then this is obviously 3/8 as well, this bracket from Barnes. So it's going to be pretty good. Had to do some clearance in this week, make my drive shaft fit at full bump. So that'll be fine. A little trimming with the torch, doesn't hurt. So got that welded in. So now I got to start making me some brackets. All right, I'm over at the welding table. I'm working on getting this all cleaned up. I'm making these brackets to go on those shock tower mounts. So, you know, you see a lot of these guys on YouTube. You see a lot of them that have channels that have these awesome cutting tables, fab tables, you know, probably $30,000, $40,000 CNC plasma machine, which is super cool. Maybe one day I'll have one, but this is what I use. I got cardboard, I make the cutouts, and then I transfer them onto my steel to make my brackets, and then I cut it out. You don't have to be super fancy, and you don't have to have the $30,000, $40,000 tools. You could still make it work just like this. I've been doing it for a long time. It works just as good. I'm gonna clean up these brackets. They'll look awesome on there, and they're gonna be stout. You know, it's kind of frustrating sometimes whenever I'm watching these shows, and you know, these guys make it seem like in 30 minutes that this project gets done, and the reality of that is it's not true. I mean, this takes, sometimes years. I remember at SEMA talking to a few of the guys that, you know, had these truck builds that, you know, they're by far more intricate and way more fancy than this truck that I'm building. And I'm like, hey man, how long did it take you to build that? And some of these guys are saying 3-4 years of working on a truck. 3 to 4 years, which is a long time for building something, especially a vehicle. I know people that, you know, take that long to build a house, you know, with multiple contractors. Just think about doing it by yourself on one vehicle. I'm planning on having this done soon, so hopefully this won't take me another year. I mean, I've been into it now about 6 months, and I feel like I'm doing good, but I'm learning as I go, and so far I'm proud of the results that I've got going on. But just to show you guys, it doesn't take a genius, it doesn't take someone who has, you know, $30,000, $40,000 cutting table to make these brackets. You can make a lot of this stuff yourself, so that's what I'm doing. That's what it's all about, buddy. That's what it's all about. Talking shit, getting it put together.
I got tired of hearing them playing.
Yeah.
Kick through right here.
No, use that black socket, it ain't gonna fit.
Yeah, she's even
What's that thing?
stutter.
Really?
She's like a little pit bull. She's like,
Finally, it's about freaking
dude, you gotta hit a dune in this.
Finally, we'll put it closer to get this thing out of the way. It can almost roll.
Jake's like, I need more space for my junk.
Man, it looks bad to the bone.
Hey, that's a hell of a
Alright, now we gotta grab the. Where's the cat forklift, man? No, you took it outside? We can't freaking pick her up and see how much she's got.
Well, you gotta work with the front. You gotta have that balance in front. He's like, no action, no counters.
We're gonna work on out here in just a minute. They're on, looking good. Coming together. Got my pinion angle setting right. Looking like a portable transfer case. Like it. Oh yeah, coming together.
So you're gonna both stop in front too?
Yep, same style. Same setup, man. Looking good.